All right, so I'm testing out this game mode to show off how I can do a domain with me section of the blog. This is probably the best way I want to deliver content because for those watching on video, they can see what I'm doing. And for those listening on a podcast, they can kind of imagine what I'm doing or check it out later. So this is just a test. This test would be if I was showing people how I domain. And if I woke up today and said, you know what, everyone says cryptocurrency's dead, but the smartest people in the world think blockchain is the future and has tremendous uses. So I don't have as many blockchain names as I do coin names. So I'm going to look around and see for some blockchain names. And one of the things I can do is I can go to Lean Domain Search, which is a site owned by Automatic now, the makers of WordPress. It was originally created by a programmer who looked to find the top 5,000 words in domain names. And I think it's a lot tougher of a task than you think because many words are made up of other words. And so to try to go through and pull out the different syllable pairs that may happen to exist in a lot of words, thus making them popular, this has been a great tool. The downside of it is going to show me a lot of names that they say are available that aren't really available, either because they have an outdated list or because they're only updating from a source that shows names with active name servers, or a lot of other reasons. But this is the business we've chosen. You have to take what you can. So you are going to see some names available that when you click on them aren't going to be available. And then even when you go to a registrar, they may not be. So I'm going to go ahead and go to leandomainsearch.com. I'm going to hit blockchain, and it's going to match up blockchain with the top 5,000 words. And so right now it's telling me that 1,631 of the top 5,000 words are available with blockchain either at the beginning or the end. And so one of the things I can do is I can either come down here and look with names that all start with blockchain, plus the most popular endings, or I can look with names that end with blockchain that have the most popular beginnings. Right now I'm searching by popularity. I want the best and most often used words to show up at the front to give me some perspective. The other things I could do is I could sort by length, where I want it to show me the shortest possible names. And what it's doing here is it's showing me the shortest possible names with for and out and own being 3 character. If I wanted to, I could search for alphabetical, which I'm not sure if I'd ever do. So I'm going to go back to popularity. And just to give you an example, I'm going to look up link blockchain. It's going to tell me right away it's no longer available. Now, you may think when you see this that, oh my gosh, someone just took blockchain this morning. And if I just would have gotten up early, and I would have been able to register the name, then I would have got it. But I think if you look on the Whois, you'll find this could have been taken 1, 5, or 10 years ago, or maybe someone did just grab it. But in this case, you have to be ready for a lot of these up at the top especially, and what you'll find is if I look for names here, so I'm going to start scrolling down, and I'm going to look for out blockchain, vintage, I don't know, vintage blockchain. Can you have a vintage blockchain when blockchains only existed for a certain amount of time? Maybe vintage blockchain would be 2016, but it's not terrible. So I may go ahead and keep that. And what I'd do is I'd copy that over to my WordPad over here, and that would allow me to keep track of it. And the reason that I would copy that over to the WordPad, and I'm not going to do it here because it'll mess up my recording, is that you kind of want to have 2 mindsets when you're searching this type of searching, especially for names that are going to be hand registrations. One is how to sort out something that may be a prospect versus all the junk that's out there. It just happens to be on a list because it's a top 5,000 word, but it may not go with blockchain in any way, shape, or form. So you're just looking for things that are prospects. But does that really mean you're ready to buy that domain name? Does that really mean that you're ready to not just spend the $8 on it, but it's going to take up a spot in your portfolio? And what I want you to think about as you're looking at this from a domain name investor point of view is that spot in your portfolio is a valuable spot. You want to make money on that name. you're going to have to manage that name, and there's a possibility it may sell over the next 1 to 2 to 10 years. And the possibility that it may sell, you don't really just compare that against the $8. You compare it against all the other domain names that you could buy right now. And you need names to sell at a certain percentage to be able to pay for the time you spent looking for them, your lifestyle expenses, all the names you registered that aren't going to sell, to create money to buy new domains. And so you have to think about those spots in your portfolio as being valuable in 3 or 6 or 9 months, or especially in 364 days when you're going to have to renew it again. I look at registration fee names, and that probably over half the names I buy at registration fee, I don't re-register and renew. Once you renew a name, now you're in it for $16. You're probably going to renew it the 3rd and 4th year, and you're kind of married to it. I find it's easier to drop a name after one because I'm just using the $9 or the $8 as an option fee payment. I had the option to own that name for a year, and no one wanted it up until the day before I bought it, and I was thinking that people would want it, but if I haven't had any indications of interest in a year, I was probably wrong, unless for somehow I think there's still a future for the name. So that's a lot of philosophical stuff. Let's get back to looking for some names. Vintage Blockchain was interesting. Mountain Blockchain, Peace, Final Boss, Stage Blockchain might be a prospect, like a staging environment. But again, you can tell I'm reaching here. These names are not, some of them are terrible, but they're subpar names, and they should be. Because if you think about domain name registration and you think of crowd behavior, up until this point, of all the people in the world that have searched for domain names, people have not registered these names. And I think somehow, once I register them, that everyone in the world is going to want to buy them from me. But I have to realize that up until today, no one wanted this name. So I really have to picture that I'm scrounging around in the trash to find a name. And what that means is I need this market to grow to make money on my domain name. Right now, no one wants to buy Lost Blockchain. But do I predict that the blockchain will not only be successful in the future, but will be more successful than the current anticipation built into all the domainers who have bought all these blockchain names, that it'll actually get better? I need it to get better. So if there's 70,000 names taken with the word blockchain right now, by next year I need there to be 100,000 names taken, so that out of those additional names, my names would then look like premium names that I could sell for more than registration fee. So let's keep going here. Grace Blockchain, Friends Blockchain. Cosmic Blockchain is kind of interesting. That would be a brandable combination. So you have one brandable word, cosmic, one blockchain word, which is a keyword. And I think right now I'm looking for terms of art, or terms that would be used to describe a process or something that tens, if not hundreds of companies might want to be called. So if I looked at the brandable category, Cosmic Blockchain isn't too bad. So I'll probably put that on my wait list. But here's the one that I ended up buying today, Killer Blockchain. And I would hit it here and it would say it's still available. And I'm actually going to buy this from the time that this video's on until, and even though I said before, wait, put them on a consideration list, maybe it's emotion, maybe I'm just a crazy domainer, but I really like the way that sounds. That's Killer Blockchain, either a great blockchain or just a cool brandable. Whether it's going to ever become a term of art, that would be the reverse form, would be blockchain killer. I guess that would be like a virus or something. But anyway, I just kind of like that one. So I'm going to take a reasonable speculation that I'm going to spend $8 for that domain name. I'm going to put it for sale for probably $2,995 on the different aftermarkets and see if someone comes and picks it off during the year. The second thing I'll do is that periodically we put all of our names for sale on domainoutlet.com. And I'll probably price this name at, say, $99 or $69. And what we're doing there is we're saying that we put in the time and the work to find names that we think have a good possibility of selling, and we're either going to wait to sell them at retail, or we're going to sell them at a wholesale price for other domainers who maybe didn't look, didn't do the work, didn't find names as good, and that they'd be just as happy to buy names for $69 to $99 like Killer Blockchain, and then they could wait, and maybe they'd want to sell it for $5 or $10 or $20,000. All right, let's see what else we got. Tango Blockchain, Slide, Splash, Wisdom, Herbal, Destination Blockchain, Prime Blockchain. That's another one. Let's take a quick look. Oh, it's not Prime, it's Prima. Whoop, sorry, read that one wrong. Prima is kind of good. I kind of like Primo better. Underground Blockchain's got some possibilities. Pirate Blockchain, if you wanted to be a little rebellious. But again, right now I'm looking for words that are more generic or descriptive. Let's see. Empower Blockchain. That's kind of a nice word. That would be a maybe. Builder Blockchain. Obviously, here's a case where blockchain builder is what you want. But if you're a global investor and in your language, the action word comes before, then maybe builder blockchain or something like that works for you, or suite blockchain, because even though in the US-centric world we'd want blockchain suite or blockchain builder, this may work for you international. One-stop blockchain's interesting. Critical blockchain. So here's one. Darn, it's not taken. So the other thing that'll happen is as you see these names on here and you're kind of bummed that you thought it was available for 1 or 2 seconds, but then you realize it's not, is that it is going to show you and kind of reaffirm your eye that a lot of the stuff you're trying to find is purchased. And so this should have looked different to you compared to all the other unregistered names. Seeing a registered name amongst all the unregistered names should show you whether your eye for finding good domains matches up with reality. Midnight Blockchain, kind of interesting, but I don't know if there's enough demand to get that deep into brandables. Other blockchain may have some generic meanings. Let's see, it's available. I think alternative has been the best thing for like altcoins. So alt blockchain might be the happier one. So I may go see if that's available. Sometimes looking through lean domain search will give you ideas. Recruit blockchain, sketch, bling, keyword blockchain. I guess that'd be interesting if you had a service. Favorite blockchain, junior blockchain, kind of winks at me, but not enough to put it on my list. Neighborhood blockchain could be something local like Main Street. Effective, classy. Candle, pronto. Strata is a good brandable word. Versa blockchain. I think in this case, people want 2-word names. Well, first they want 1-word names. So you'd want to have like chain, stir, or chainology or something like that, or blockology. And so then you get into, when you put a brandable word before blockchain, it almost makes it 3 syllables. So the one thing where I might be greedy on this, let's see if it's available, Versa blockchain. I may go look at Versa block or Versa chain because it's 2 syllables as opposed to 3. And so we might do that next. Backyard blockchain, prosperity, bullet, slate. So you can see over here, I'm only about 1/8 of the way through. And again, it's constantly reminding me that not every word with blockchain is taken. I better be selective. And now we're down into words that are used, taken in a certain amount of domain names relative to each other. Varsity, Aspire, Cardinal, Fiesta, Pyramid is interesting. Saint, Chance, Sublime. So anyway, now I want to get to one of the most important things I'm going to teach you today. Patience can make you money in domain. If you're after the thrill of buying a $10,000 name for reg fee, you're not going to be excited with these names down here in the middle. You're just going to hope that there's something at the top that's amazing. But it's in the middle, in the patient areas, where you're having to look at a lot of frogs instead of a lot of princes, to use a metaphor from a children's fairy tale. You're having to look at a lot of junk. But this is where our name may pop up that is not a top 20 or top 50 word, but happens to really go with blockchain. And if you stop now, after you're only 1/8 of the way through, that's fine. The percentages may be in your favor. You may be like, hey, if a name isn't in the top 400 or 500 words taken in all domain names, I don't want it. But at the same time, by being impatient, you've left and maybe not done the work that's going to lead to a successful domain name. Now, again, I'm not saying always go through the whole blockchain list, because as you get down to the bottom, you're going to find names that aren't as high quality. You're still going to have to apply the same discipline that you would have if the name was up top in the popular words. But this is where someone else might have left, but you didn't, and you may get a great domain name. Samurai Blockchain would be an interesting brandable name. World Class Blockchain. Now you're 4 syllables. Handmade, Mark, Surprise, Providence, Character, Cupcake, Sonoma, Dragonfly. If you're not like me, where I've kind of gotten used to looking at 18 blocks at one time, the other way to do it is to either go down all the one row and just stay in that one row and then go back up to the top, or go ahead and go across, or go while the screen's here, go down and then down and then down. Homepage blockchain is a good combination, but at 4 syllables, I'm not sure I'd do it, but I'd probably put it on my list to consider. Starter blockchain, I kind of like that one. Starter blockchain, that's definitely going to go on my list. So that's the idea that you may have a product or a service for an introductory person, and I'm going to at least consider that when it comes down to making my final registration. Purpose blockchain, that's another one. I'm probably going to put that on my list. Let's see. See, you never know where they're going to come from, and you never know if there's going to be 1 or 2 right next to each other. Renegade blockchain is a brandable, but maybe not good enough. All-in-one, old school blockchain. Again, I don't know if we have enough new school to make old school. Sunflower grow. Okay, so I would keep going down here and keep looking, but for purposes of this video, I'm not going to. Now, I don't like blockchain at the end as much, but I am going to go ahead and look and hit ends with search term. So now I'm putting the keyword in front of it. So extra blockchain, I may say, well, someone needs an extra blockchain, that's taken. And again, we're back up to the top, so we're in the names that have the word that occurs at the beginning of the most domain names. So for blockchain, you say, well, I don't know what I'd use it for, but man, that's a pretty popular combination. Touch blockchain is available. So again, you'll see out blockchain, sugar. Let's see, we have Karma Salon, final blockchain. And it's like almost like a good video game. Performance, pretty after cosmic blockchain. That's not bad for a brandable. I'd put that on my consideration list. Now, essential blockchain, no longer available. So again, that's kind of confirming that, yeah, that name should be taken. And here again, we have killer blockchain, which I'm going to put on the list. Sorry about that. I keep wanting to hit the screen. You have to hit somewhere in the white to be able to grab the screen to be able to page down. Smash blockchain, destination, nutrition, underground. So these are names that I actually saw when I was looking at the list of all names. Critical blockchain was taken, other, junior, Celtic, constant, prosperity. I want to try to find one more good one. I just feel like there's one there. Again, I can't change my expectations when I get down here to the middle of the list. I just have to look at each one, sound it out, and see if, because of the combination with the word blockchain, it's going to be a better domain name, even though it ranks in the top maybe 500,000 or 1,500 words that are in domain names. It may have such a good relationship to blockchain that it's worth getting. A turnkey blockchain. I'm definitely going to put that on my list. This would be the idea of a company that would have an easy blockchain that you could create. Now, again, that's from a keyword point of view. I think there's a lot of domainers that have had success with these type of names that are keywords, but some other domainers would say, no, that's really 2012 domaining, when having a good keyword made a sense. If someone searched for turnkey blockchain, you would want to show up. Now, they'll say that you want to be Fiesta blockchain, which is just a brandable name. So again, it's what's working for you and where you want to place your bets. So that was a pretty good one. Next level blockchain isn't bad for being 4 words above. What I'm really looking for here is like stable blockchain. There's a good one. You know, a word that really goes with blockchain. You would want to have a stable blockchain. That's taken. For those of you that are listening and not watching, when I'm clicking on these, it's changing it from green to red, and at the same point it's popping up a screen saying it's no longer available. World-class blockchain, anytime blockchain, that's interesting. It's still available, so it popped up in green. I want to find one more. I still think there's one more out there that makes sense. You guys can look with me here. Homepage, One Day, Vitality, Ventura. What's interesting about city names is it'll give you an idea of how often that city name is taken. Now, it could just be by other domainers who are taking every city in the U.S. with handyman or painting or locksmith or something like that. But it gives you some idea of what city names are in more domain names. Pinpoint block, freestyle blockchain. That's kind of interesting. That's available. Let's see. Oh, elemental blockchain. All right, so now I'm looking for a short name. Big Apple blockchain, Big Red, Boomerang, Crisp. Hello blockchain. That could be a blendable. Hello blockchain. All right. Let's see. All right. Plan B, Prodigy, Measure, Clearance, Independence, Mechanical. And again, if I look over here, because when I scroll down to the bottom, that'll be the end of the available. It gives you an idea of how far you are. You know, sometimes just for the heck of it, I go down to the bottom, like Quantum Leap Blockchain, Focal Point Top Choice. And the reason I'll go down to the bottom is y'all may be looking at this thing and you may stop halfway through or 3/4 of the way through. And if I wanted to say I want to go to the level that the least amount of domain name investors would go to search, therefore it's the highest likelihood that something would have been missed, I will go to the bottom to see if there's something at the very bottom. Again, trying to keep the same expectations as I would if I was looking for the best blockchain domain name. Meaning, don't let the fact that a name is just pretty good for being at the bottom of the list sway you. You still want it to be great in terms of all domain names. So maybe Unplugged Blockchain. Let's see. Point, Peace of Mind, Intact. You're getting more phrases down here sometimes than words. Quorum Blockchain. That's interesting. Quantum, I would definitely take. Wildcard Blockchain. You're hoping that you're to find words here that are either great brandables or are starting to be used in commerce as a description of a type of blockchain where you'd have lots of clients. First rate, perennial. All right, so what I talked about before, I'm going to page up to the top, is the idea that blockchain, even though it's a great keyword, it's also pretty long. So I may say, you know what? Let's say people start talking about blockchain and then they change it and they just start talking about chain. And when you say chain, everyone knows you're talking about chain. So now I'm going to check chain, and because it's less popular, you're going to have some great combinations available at the top. Wicked chain. So maybe you're sitting there and you got a lot of clients in Boston. Or your company's in Boston, you want to be wicked smart and you want to have a great domain name, so you're Wicked Chain. Visit Chain, All About Chain is not bad. I'll put that on my maybe list. Now you can see here that most of these, in terms of the top 5,000 words, have chain at the end because that's not as popular. But I'm still just taking a quick look at the top. Boomer chain, serious chain. That could be a good brandable because it's also talking about, hey, these are mission critical things. Evergreen, hometown chain, heavenly chain. You're really looking here for synonyms for the word block. Let's see, most of these are brandables. All right, now let's go and say, no. If you're in the blockchain business, the chain is the most important thing. So you want to have a word that starts with chain. So you have chain game. So I would buy, oh darn, I would love to buy that name. But again, reconfirms that it should be taken, reconfirms that I wanted a name that someone else has, which means it's a good name. Let's see, Chain Institute, that's not terrible. No, that's not available. For those of you listening, it was red, meaning it was not available. Chain Pie is a pretty short brandable. Chain Anywhere, no, it's no longer available. Let's check Chain Pie. Chain Pie is still available. So instead of blueberry pie or apple pie, you wanted to have Chain Pie. Chain Essentials, I like that one, is available. So I'm going to put that on my list to again consider later against all the other prospects that I found during this session. So I may be comparing it against some of the stuff I talked about earlier, like killer blockchain or cosmic blockchain, and saying which one do I want to place my money on, knowing that it's a hand registration. Up until today, no one wanted this name, but I think because I buy it, everyone's going to want it. But I do think it has a higher probability than normal of being sold, and I compare it to all the rest of the names in my portfolio that I'm going to be renewing this month. So Chain Essentials I may go with. I kind of like that one. I guess you'll know by the time you see this. Chain Answer would be a Chain Buddies. So here again we have a pretty cool brandable, and there are some great and awesome games that have been built on the blockchain. So if you think about pets or something like that, if I was really thinking that I was really early on this idea of having names with the word chain and chain only, not blockchain, and again, please don't go out and buy 500 of these. You're going to own so much inventory that there's no way demand can ever come and bail you out of them. But if I wanted to have Chain Buddies as a brandable, put it up for sale at a $3,000 to $4,000 retail price, or if I was Mike Mann, a $20,000 to $25,000 retail price, you wouldn't be totally surprised if you saw Chain Buddies on the name bio report selling at Sadhu for $7,000 or $8,000. And at the same time, this is a name that we may say, well, we did the work to find a great name, and we'll put it on Domain Outlet for $69 or $99 or $199, selling the opportunity as a domain investor to own this name. We may even put it on the Dn.biz newsletter. So sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already. We put names at wholesale prices out there where all you do is reply to the newsletter or text or Twitter message with sold and you get the name. So again, if you're looking at those names and you're saying, well, I don't want to buy a name that someone else has already bought, it's just part of my business model that when I do find names that I think are good, reasonable speculations, I'll sell them at wholesale to other domainers. So I'll probably do that with Chain Buddies. Let's see. Chain Feedback. Chain Application is almost too generic, but it's not bad. Oh, no longer available. So for those of you who are listening, it's not available. Chain Cyber, Chain Maniac. These are ones that might be available. Chain Executive. That would be for people that are in the blockchain business. So Chain Executive, I'd probably put that on my maybe list. Chain Upgrade. All right, so those are the words with chain. Now I may go back up here, and I may say, let's look for some brandables with block at the beginning. Now, this isn't the main way I search for brandables, because the main way to search for brandables are to add cute endings, popular suffixes, animals, and colors. But this is a way sometimes where you do get a popular English word next to it that makes sense, like Block Wisdom. I may say, you know what, that would be a good name for a blog or anything like that. I'll probably put that on my maybe list, blockwisdom.com. Block Karma, that's another one. Oh, no longer available. But again, the key things I want you to take away from this are be greedy, look for quality, not just quality comparing what should be registered and what should not be registered. Because registering a domain name that maybe should be registered, that's not enough victory for a domain investor. Now, if you're out there and you're in the blockchain business and you've been doing all this work to find a good name for your company, you've got a whole different set of circumstances. If you're looking to name your company and you just want to find a good registration fee name, then I think that's what you want to do. But I think that if you're a domain investor, you don't just need this name to be a name that should be registered. You need it to approach the level that will be bought for a premium. But for those of you that are looking for names, if you are looking for a name for a business and you wanted to be in the blockchain business, I think this is a great way to find the names. And that's why Automatic bought it for their WordPress subsidiary. So I'd put Block Karma on my maybe list. I would put Block Organizer maybe. Block Comparison, Block Loco, no. What's interesting about this is if you look, that block at the beginning, there's only 99 names available out of probably 1,500. So I think that is a case where block names are probably a more popular substitute than chain names for blockchain brandables. So that would probably lead me to be excited about, oh, Block Panda's gone. What was the other one I liked? Block Wisdom. Block Wisdom's available. So I might consider Block Wisdom. The impulse is, oh my gosh, there's only 99 available. I better buy these now. But you want to take a second look about 10 or 15 minutes later and ask yourself, is Block Wisdom good enough to take up a valuable spot in my portfolio? So let us know on Twitter or Facebook or comments on our site or an email to me at page@dn.biz if you like these Domain With Me videos. We'll hope to put more of them up, and I'll show you different ways to become a better domain investor. I'll show you if you're looking for a good domain name for your business, or just for a marketing initiative, or just for a landing page, for some lead generation that you're doing, how to find great names using lean domain search. So again, thanks. This is Paige Howe at Dn.biz.